the Eurozone financial crisis. It's plaguing Cyprus, and the Cypriot citizens are receiving a crash course in how an out-of-control banking industry and their corrupt banksters can bring an entire country to its knees. And the Cypriot economy is ground to a halt. Why? Because their banking sector's falling apart. Why? Because their banks had actually made big bets on Greek bonds. They didn't work out so well. And Cyprus has been hit by a recession just like everybody else in Europe. So the banks in Cyprus have been shut all week. They're not supposed to open until Tuesday to try and prevent a run on the banks. Good luck with that. When all's said and done, and if the Cypriot economy ever recovers from this financial collapse, the Cypriots are going to, hopefully have a newfound awareness of their banks and the importance of banking and the horrors of, banksters run amok. I mean, it's like, what is the summer or the spring break? Girls Gone Wild. This is banksters gone wild, right? And, we need oversight and regulation over the financial industry. Cyprus needs it big time. And by the way, that's what Iceland did. And it's working. In 2008, when the global financial crisis began taking down economies one by one of the countries that was hit incredibly hard was Iceland. All three. There were three big banks in Iceland. All three of them went down. They all collapsed. Their stock exchange, it's called the OMX Iceland 15, crashed. It plummeted. Pension funds were slashed. Businesses were wiped out. The whole country just instantly impoverished. Essentially instantly impoverished. Now, the people of Iceland, the country of Iceland, could have responded to the financial crisis the same way we did here in the United States. Hey, bail out the banksters. Don't punish them. Don't send Jamie Dimon to jail. Give him money. Or Iceland could arrest the banksters that brought down the economy. They could bail out those who were most afflicted by the collapse, the average Icelanders themselves, and begin to rebuild their financial industry, the banking industry, from scratch. We chose the former. Iceland chose the latter. They said, jail the bums. In December of 2008, the Icelandic parliament passed a bill establishing an office of the special prosecutor. The job of that new office was to investigate suspected criminal conduct leading up to or in connection with or in the wake of the banking crisis, and to follow up those investigations specifically, intentionally, by bringing criminal charges, not civil charges. We're not saying, oh, your bank's going to pay a $212 million fine for the $1 billion you stole. No, actually bringing criminal charges against those responsible for the crisis and throwing their butts in prison. Since the Office of the Special Prosecutor was created, Iceland has been rounding up one bankster after another. In March of 2011, Robert and Vincent Cengiz were arrested in London as part of the Special Prosecutor's Office investigation into the collapse of the Icelandic bank Kaupthing. In December of last year, a Reykjavik court, is the capital of Iceland, Reykjavik court sentenced two of the top executives at Iceland's bank, Glitnir, to jail time. And just yesterday, 9 more banksters from the Icelandic bank Kaupthing were indicted and charged for their roles in orchestrating 5 large-scale market manipulation conspiracies. These are only a few of the arrests. Iceland is cleaning up their banks. And what they're doing is they're putting the banksters in jail. Meanwhile, here in the United States, the Wall Street banksters who brought our economy to its knees are still sitting pretty in their corner offices or retired with hundreds of millions of dollars of your money. I mean, look at Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan. In a recent report on J.P. Morgan's monumental multi-billion-dollar trading loss, Dimon is alleged to have criminally withheld from regulators key details about the bank's daily losses. And numerous other reports have suggested that Dimon may have been complicit in J.P. Morgan Chase engaging in additional criminal and or unethical activity. But Dimon and the rest of his fat cat buddies, doing just fine. They got their chauffeured limousines and their helicopters and their mansions and their mistresses and God only knows what. Continuing to rake in multi-million-dollar bonuses or golden parachute retirement. I don't know if Jamie Dimon has a mistress or not. I shouldn't throw that in. Dimon's actions pale in comparison to executives at the HSBC Bank, who recently admitted in court to allowing Mexican and Colombian drug cartels to launder $900 million through their bank. Now, if you had laundered $900 million of Mexican drug cartel money, you would be in jail for the rest of your life. You have any doubt about that? I mean, they would kick in your door. But we're talking here about rich white banksters who give politicians millions of dollars. Executives of the banks also admitted using various schemes to move around hundreds of millions of dollars to nations who are supposed to be subject to trade sanctions, including Iran, Cuba, and Sudan. And reports suggest some of that money made its way into the hands of terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda. If you'd done that, you'd be in Guantanamo. But then again, you are not a bankster in all probability. There may be some banksters listening. If you are, you know what I'm saying. Despite these egregious criminal actions, the United States has yet to jail a single HSBC bankster. Not one. Nor has England, to the best of my knowledge. So what's the bottom line to all this? Eventually, when Cyprus's economy recovers, that government is going to have to make a choice. They can choose to let their banksters go free and risk another financial meltdown like we did in the United States. Or they can take the Icelandic approach, crack down on corruption in the financial industry, prosecute and jail those responsible for causing and worsening the collapse. By the way, which is what Ronald Reagan did with bankster S&L banksters here in the United States in 1986. At the start of the 2008 worldwide economic collapse, Iceland was in worse shape financially than every other country in the world, the developed countries. Today, they're home to one of the fastest growing economies in the world. They got from there to here by throwing their banksters in jail. Hopefully Cyprus is going to, take a page out of that book. And by the way, wouldn't be such a bad idea here in the United States as well. They shouldn't be too big to fail. And to paraphrase Elizabeth Warren, they shouldn't be too big to jail. 15 minutes past the hour.